Hello and welcome. This is Phil Hogan from Hutchison & Company Chartered Accountants, and today we'll be talking about the IRS's new Streamlined Tax Filing Program changes. For those of you that are not aware, the IRS has a tax filing program available to those U.S. citizens living in Canada or abroad for that matter, and the changes actually reflect to U.S. citizens living in the U.S. So for those U.S. citizens that have not filed tax returns over the last few years, the program allows them to catch up without fear of penalties if they meet certain criteria and submit those tax returns to the IRS. For those familiar with the program, new changes have been established June of this year. And essentially what the changes have done, they've eliminated the $1,500 tax threshold requirement. Essentially before, if you owed more than $1,500 of U.S. tax in any years, you were considered high risk and you weren't able to file under the new program. So that's been eliminated. Some other high risk criteria has been eliminated. So in most cases, Canadians or U.S. citizens living in Canada are now fully eligible under the program, and any Canadians applying through the program will be accepted without fear of being penalized. So what do you do? If you're a U.S. citizen living in Canada and you haven't filed U.S. tax returns, where do you start? Obviously, the first place to start is to contact someone with U.S. tax experience, somebody that can help guide you through the process. We can definitely help at the office. Give us a call, 250-381-2400. You can visit the website, hutchison.ca, hutcheson.ca. You can email me also at phil@hutchison.ca, phil@hutchison.ca. So how do you file tax returns under the Streamlined Tax Filing Program? So let's use a case study to better illustrate how you would actually file returns. So let's say Joe has been living in Canada for many years, over 20 years. Joe had his U.S. citizenship previously before moving to Canada. And since he's moved to Canada, he has not filed any U.S. tax returns. In this example, Joe doesn't have any U.S. assets. Joe is employed and has a little bit of investment income. Joe also has an RSP. So in Joe's case, assuming he doesn't have any U.S. assets and he had not filed tax returns in the U.S. for U.S. tax purposes in the past, he would be eligible for the Streamlined IRS Tax Filing Program. So what would he need to submit? So currently, the IRS is asking under the program for 3 years of tax returns to be filed. So right now we're in 2014, 2013 tax returns are late. So he would file 2011, 2012, and 2013 1040 U.S. income tax returns. In addition to the tax returns, the U.S. tax returns that he would need to file under the program, he would also need to file 6 foreign bank account reporting forms. So the 6 FBAR forms, many people are familiar with that term. The foreign bank account reporting forms, which are now Form 114, are electronically prepared and electronically filed and submitted to the department. So you would need 6 years of those. You would need 2008 to 2013 FBAR forms, and on those forms, what you're doing is you're disclosing the highest balance in all financial accounts that you control, essentially, joint and sole accounts. In addition to FBAR accounts and the 3 years of tax returns, depending on Joe's situation, his financial situation, and his tax situation, he might have additional forms to file. So running down the list, I won't get into all the potential forms that need to be filed, but some of the accounts and situations where you might need to consider filing additional forms would be if Joe had a TFSA account, tax-free savings account, RSPs, RESPs, Registered Education Savings Plans. If Joe was a shareholder of a private company, there would be additional disclosures to file and forms. If he was the beneficiary or trustee of any trusts. If Joe had Canadian mutual funds, there would be additional disclosures that might be required. Anybody interested in going through with this new program would want to sit down with somebody and flush through their their tax situation, their financial situation, to ensure that all tax returns forms were properly filed within the program. The IRS is giving you one chance to get caught up, 3 years, 6 years of FBARs. So it's important that you file a complete tax return in all 3 years. Make sure all forms are properly filed, disclosed, all accounts are properly filed and disclosed as well. In addition to the tax returns, the FBARs, and all the other forms that might be required based on Joe's situation, the client's also going to need, or Joe's going to need, to file a non-willful disclosure form, essentially that states that Joe was non-willful in his non-compliance for not filing U.S. tax returns. So essentially, the IRS just wants to know that you didn't know that you needed to file these tax returns, and once you or file the FBAR forms, and once you realized that that was something that was required, you took the necessary steps to file those forms. So that's a disclosure that goes in with the package. So once all these returns are prepared, the FBARs are prepared, the non-disclosures are signed, they all get submitted into one package and they're sent off to the IRS. In our experience, the program's been very successful. Many of our clients have caught up with the Streamlined Tax Filing Program. Most of our clients have had lots of success in filing their tax returns through this program. They call it the Streamlined Tax Filing Program for a reason. The IRS is streamlining these returns through. Most clients do not owe U.S. tax, so most of the returns are nil returns. That being said, there are some cases where Canadians with U.S. citizenship living in Canada would actually owe U.S. tax. But it's important to sit down with somebody and go through your prior Canadian returns to assess whether that might be the case. But in most cases, you won't owe any U.S. tax. If you're a U.S. citizen living in Canada and you need help filing your late U.S. tax returns or your current U.S. tax returns, please give me a call at 250-381-2400 or send me an email at phil@hutchison.ca. You can also contact us through the website. I'll leave a link to the email address, the website address, and our phone number below. And we look forward to hearing from you soon.